This is the NFL Draft Report on 101 ESPN, featuring Tony Softli and Howard Balzer.
In our continuing coverage of the NFL Draft, I'm Howard Balzer. Tony Softli is with me, and we've got it all covered. 38 days to go until the draft, and you can read and see and hear all about it, whether it's on the air, on 101ESPN.com, anywhere. You can hear us talking about the draft. And I have to say, Tony Softli opened up a little bit of a hornet's nest on Friday. We talked about it on Pro Football Sunday, and his thought that on his board, it's a very good possibility that Mark Ingram might be the best player available when the Rams pick at 14 on April 28th. Talk about that, Tony.
Well, Howard, on my board, the way I have it set right now, Mark Ingram is sitting right there. I think he's an explosive football player, Heisman Trophy winner, had the knee last year, still played through it. This is a guy that carries the load. He ran a 4.62 at the Combine, but forget that. You turn the film on, his DNA shows you that this guy is more explosive. He can outrun guys. Does he have that long ball speed? No. But he is very, very compact running style. I think he'd be a complimentary back here to Steven Jackson. And I think Josh McDaniels will really, really have a good time with him, and, throwing him the ball and handing him the ball.
When we talk about value, and so many times it comes down to where teams have clusters of players. And if it's Ingram and a defensive tackle and a defensive end, we're assuming a wide receiver will not be there, and they're all closely rated. Then what do you do?
Well, a lot of draft rooms are different, and if they're clustered, and let me just explain this to you. All the players by position are stacked vertically, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're ranked that way. And then they go across from quarterback all the way to defensive end. Now, what happens is you rank a player based off their vertical, right, but also a lateral comparison as well. So you have a running back compared to a defensive end compared to a receiver, wherever you might have them. At the end, there might be a cluster of the same grade, but really what it comes down to, in your draft scenarios, you go through all those scenarios. What if this guy's there or this group of players are there? What do we do? And you get all that settled out. You don't do that on draft day. I mean, there might be a couple things on medical or character issues or something like that, which you've already discussed, but that's taken care of, 2 or 3 weeks prior to that.
When we look at a running back, I think there's one thing we can all agree on, and that is the Rams need a complement for Steven Jackson. There's no question about that. They've needed it for a couple of years now. The question comes, and in your mind, with a Mark Ingram. Look at him in terms of how similar he is to Steven Jackson, or is it better for the Rams to have someone who's very different from Steven Jackson? Talk about that in terms of what the Rams might want to do, whoever the running back might be.
Yeah, you know what? First of all, they need a lot. I think we both agree that the Rams need a lot. Outside linebacker, receiver, running back, a defensive lineman, a guard. They need a lot of stuff. But when you just talk about the running back, it's okay to have the same type of running back as Steven Jackson because he doesn't change your offense if Steven goes down. He can come in, things just move on as normal. If you have a different running back, what we call a change of pace back, and that's what Mark Ingram would be, a change of pace type of back here, then you can use different settings, you can use different formations, and you can use them in a different way. And I think Josh McDaniels would have a great time. Now, this is my board. That's the way I see it. And, right now I would have Mark Ingram ahead of Corey Legit and Aldon Smith, the defensive tackle and the defensive end that I have positioned right around that area. But let me throw another wrench into it.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Here comes another
Softly hardball, not a softball.
That's it, baby. That's it. Hey, if they decide to trade back, trade back, and I've been saying on the Bernie Miklasz show for the last 30 days or so, Titus Young, Boise wide receiver, 3,000 yards, 25 touchdowns. He's explosive. Everybody's comparing him to Deshaun Jackson of Philadelphia. I don't see him that explosive or that fast, but he's a very good wide receiver, and they need a wide receiver.
As we said, we've got 38 days to break it down, to discuss it. We won't always agree, but that's fine.
That's right.
For Tony Softli, I'm Howard Balzer. Keep it right here on 101ESPN.com.